how to fit or where to fit your oil pressure filter in between your carbs, which is in here, which is very, very easy to do. I've had to move mine because I've fitted electric start, as you all know, on here. There's no room for an oil filter anymore. So I put mine under here, which is, hopefully you can see it there. It's just repiped, and I use a 3-inch pipe clamp and bolted it onto there, and it works fine. It's easy to get at, easy to undo, easy to change, no big deal. Only thing you do need to be careful of is that gap between the filter and your wheel. Make sure that's big enough, otherwise you will have a nasty accident and you don't want that. But make sure that's right. You want to be able to get your finger in there. The inline filter is a pressure filter, and that's 5 micron. Chalice filter is 25 micron plus. I've seen some rip-off versions of the Chalice filter, which isn't a Chalice filter, they're up to 50 micron. Yes, I've done flow tests on them, and that's a fact. If you've got a 50 micron filter in there, you might as well not bother. It's like, you might as well put a stocking in there. A little bit about how the oil gets dirty from your combustion processes. Inside here you've got your piston that obviously is going up and down. When that's firing, you get gas that forces the piston down, and then when it pulls up, you get a little bit of oil being drawn up at the back of the piston, and that keeps your cylinders lubricated. So you've got the up and down, up and down, up and down. That little bit of oil that's on the sides of the cylinder wall obviously get burnt a little bit from the combustion process. That oil gets pushed or blown past the rings and drops into your crankcase. That's what makes your oil go black. Like that. It's not some horrible thing that's happening to your engine. It's normal. All engines do it. even Ferraris, they all do it. It's just part of the process. It's just an engineering process that you put up with, and that's why you do your oil change. If that never happened, you'd never need really to do an oil change, I guess. But it would also say that the engine's not running. I use high zinc oil, which is a penrite, which is this stuff. And it's got high zinc, full zinc, which is the most important bit. Your oils that you use, you may not be able to get this where you live. I'll take a picture of the instructions on the back of the full details of the oil. I'm not going to read all that out, but you'll get the idea. So I'll try to video removing the filter with this very clever little device, which just, this is it, and you just stick it on. Yeah, that bolt under there is less than useless. They just snap off. They always do. But if you got one of these, they're about 20 bucks. Put it on, and there you go. That's all there is to it. It's just a strap. And you put your receptacle underneath to catch the oil. I'll stop filming now because it's I'm going to get oil on everything if I don't. Yeah, so once you've loosened it off, just unscrew it. With your hands, obviously. When you unscrew it, you get obviously a bit of oil out of it. That's all there is to it. That just comes off. They've got an oil seal when you take them off. There it is. Make sure you get that off. Very important. Every new oil filter has a new one, and you just obviously replace them. And just screw it back on. That black, what's on there, is not rubber, it's just paint, by the way. But you need to make sure that that sealing edge is clean, as this one is. Yeah, that's it's not sealant or anything like that. That's just black paint from when it was made. That's been on about 15 years, I think. That filter housing. It's a Norton filter housing. Very, very good. Good old Norton. And screw it on. Oh, obviously you put a bit of oil on the, which I didn't film, but on the oil seal. There's a rubber oil seal on it, and you need to put oil on both sides of that, which I've already done. So if you don't do that, it'll make getting it off a pig. Right, and then easy for me to do now. All you have to do is start her up. For me it's a lot easier because I've got an electric start, but otherwise you just have to crank her up same as normal. A lot of people kick them round a lot on the kickstart. I just wind it round on electric start. It's much easier. Anyway, whichever if you want to kick it round, I recommend that you kick it round at least 20 times before you try to start it. That's just to pump the oil from the tank through to the pump and into the crankshaft. As long as you've got oil in there, everything's good. If you haven't got oil in there and you try and start it up straight away, you're risking things. Don't take risks. Kick it around at least 20 times, maybe more if you wish, but at least 20 times. For me it's electric start, so all I have to do is crank it around on that. Much easier. Until I've got oil pressure, which I've got on my trusty oil pressure gauge. Tickle on each side, and she should go. Oil coming back on the return line. One thing I forgot to point out was if you're warming it up, always put a fan on. It just allows the head to keep cool. If you don't, it simulates like when you're riding along. If you don't do that, you can overheat your head, and you definitely don't want that. With the fan on, you can leave it running really as long as you like, but yeah, quite important, get a fan.